It's me, Laura, from the Papered Soul, and welcome back to my channel. I was working on some boho beads for my journals that I'm getting ready to release, hopefully in the next day or two. And my theme of my journals is butterflies. So I wanted to make a boho bead that kind of looked like a chrysalis or a cocoon that the butterfly grows his wings in, or her wings in. And so the colors are muted because I wanted them to be organic, as close to reality as I could make a boho bead for nature. So I have some greens and browns here, but they're shimmery and soft, silky fabrics and stuff that I used. So, you know, this, what I'm going to show you could just be used to help you with a boho bead if you want to learn how to do those. But also, it's just with my theme that I have going on. My lighting today is not the best. It's rather cloudy out there, so I hope that you're able to see. What I did is I hid a little butterfly underneath there, so it's like you could see the butterfly. I don't know if you can see it, but you know, poking through. So it's like this butterfly is almost done growing and he'll be breaking free from the chrysalis soon. So I just wanted to add that in there, you know, so that whoever got my journals, these are going to be hanging off my journals, would know that that is a butterfly cocoon. So let me show you the ingredients. I've got one more to do because I'm doing a trio of journals. So I'll show you the ingredients for the boho beads. I've never made a boho bead. These were the first ones I've made. I made these today. I did check out, let's see, Amity Bloom and some other little videos just to see. Oh, Chrissiecrosser. And I checked hers out just to kind of see what the base was that these, you know, that people were using to build the bead around. I have had a jewelry shop on Etsy called Figgy Lane Jewelry since 2010. It's not presently, I don't presently have anything listed. I've been focusing on the Papered Soul and my supply shop there, but I am thinking about getting back into my jewelry as well. We'll see if time allows. But, so I just wanted to know what the base was. But I believe Chrissiecrosser, and I'll put those links down below, but I believe Chrissiecrosser used a paper straw, and I think she put little small dowels in there and everything. So this is a plastic straw, and I just cut it to the size that I thought would be a good size. And so I have about 20 gauge, you know, non-tarnish bronze colored craft wire because I wanted it natural looking. And then I also have a 26 gauge, which is, this one is going to be pliable, but a little sturdy running through to hold it, okay? And it's a little bit thicker. And then this one is thinner, and that'll be for wrapping the beads around and for hanging my little briolette at the bottom. Okay, so then the fabrics that I used are, okay, I'm going to use a straw. I'm going to use cotton to stuff that in there just to make it a little more thick and pliable right there. Not pliable, thicker and sturdy. And then I just have I built it up with some muslin. And then after I got the shape of it with that I liked, I wrapped this green chiffon that I just snipped off some, and then I have some, what is this, taffeta? I think this is the shimmery, and it's a taupey color, and I'm putting that over it because cocoons are usually green or brown, and so I was using those to mix, and this has a shimmer to it, so I kind of liked that. The other thing that I did, and this is not something you have to do if you're not making a boho bead this specific, but I had some ribbon with butterflies on it. So I cut, for my boho beads, I cut a little wing off for each one of my beads, just the wing. So here's, you know, my little wing there. And what I'm going to do, and that's what I did, is I buried that wing kind of under the layers, but where you can see it, like it's starting to emerge and grow. So I just did that for an extra element. The other thing that you're going to need is some little tacky glue. I use my Fabri-Tac, especially since I'm dealing with my fabric. You need your fabric scissors. You'll need, for jewelry making, you know, your cutters for the wire. You'll need your round nose pliers. Okay, those are great. And then your flat nose pliers. Okay. Okay, so then there's my fabrics. And then also you'll need is your beads. And I have a number of them, and I'll introduce them as we kind of go along. I hope you can see, like I say, this is just so dark. So what I decided to do, since I did not have paper straws and I wanted to build the thickness up a little bit, I thought, well, I'll just stuff it with some cotton. So what I do, my wire is probably about, this is probably more than I need. You know, you probably only need maybe 4 inches just to be on the safe side, but 4 or 5 inches, 4 to 6 inches, whatever. So I put my wire through my straw, and then I just pulled off a little bit of cotton from a cotton ball. And what I did is I used my round nose pliers, and I just kind of got it going, and then just stuffed it, started tapping and stuffing that in there. And I really don't have to use a lot to get that kind of full because it's such a small little straw. And I just kind of pat that in there, and then I can put some, it actually gets pushed through. It doesn't matter which end you put it in because it kind of gets pushed through anyway. So I just tap that in there. Okay, so you'll see me just kind of fuss about this. It's not something, it's just something you want to take your time with your beads. And it's not something that, you know, we'll see how smoothly it goes. The first two came together pretty smoothly, and for that being the first time I ever made a boho bead, I was pretty impressed. But the camera's on, and so I think we all know what happens when our camera comes on. That's when major stuff starts happening, stuff that we didn't experience the first time around. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll go smoothly, and I hope it does. And I hope that, you know, if you've never tried a boho bead, this will be something you'd like to do. Like I say, these are my first boho beads. And I've been wanting to make some anyway, and I just thought with my little journals that I'm going to put them on, I just thought, gosh, that would be really cute to make it look like a little butterfly cocoon. Okay? All right, so I have my, that's more secure now, and it feels a little thicker with that straw. I might could put just a little bit more in there. Got my wire in there, and I just put the wire in first and then kind of tamp that cotton in there. And that way the wire won't be moving around, and the straw is, you know, nice and kind of stiffer. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do is start putting my my beads on. I put beads on at the very end. I have a resin bead that's kind of a seafoam green. And then you look at a butterfly chrysalis, and you know, it has kind of a little, this shape to it, that little type of shape to it. So I just thought I would use that bead for that. Excuse me. And then I have another, like a little pearl kind of bead, and it's a taupey color. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top. Okay, so I have a bead, and then I have these little copper bead caps, a bead cap, and then these smaller beads for my bead end, just to kind of help hold the cap on. So what I'm going to do, I'll get that in a minute. I'm just going to go ahead and just put this bead on one end. And what I do while I'm working on one end is I just bend this wire so that the straw isn't tempted to come off. And then that way I can kind of mess around with this. Now I do have my glasses. I meant to say, if any of you need glasses for this kind of stuff, which you may need, and I definitely need them. Okay, so I just kind of center that. Now, the wire is kind of off to the side, so I think on my other ones, what I kind of did was I kind of bent it and then made sure that my bead was kind of, you know, centered over that straw pretty good. Like I say, this is a little fussy, so, you know, just bear with me. I'm going to put my bead cap on, And then I'm gonna put my little bead. It's kind of like a little teal bead there. And now I'm ready to make a loop and kind of hold that on really good. So I take my round nose pliers and I bend it over the side. And what I like to do, you'll learn when you do any jewelry making, if you haven't done a lot of it, you'll learn what angles you like to work on the most. So anyway, then I take my flat nose pliers and then I'm going to just twist it back around like that. So I get myself a really nice loop, okay? And I don't have to have it really large because I'm just going to have a small, maybe a garment pin that goes through there to hold it onto my journal, okay? And then I just kind of wrap it around a couple of times, just nice and tight to make sure that my everything is really flush and secure, okay? When I come in and secure this other end, you can see my cotton coming out, it'll be nice and secure once I secure that other end. So then I'm gonna take my wire cutters and I'm gonna cut it as close to the bead as I can. Let me move my hand because I think my light is, so you can see my loop, and then I'm just gonna cut my wire as close as I can. Just kind of knit that off. And then I have a little piece sticking out still. So I'm gonna take my round nose pliers and then my flat nose. I'm hold it with my round nose and then I'm just gonna squish the end of this down so that it's not gonna be sticking out and it's all I think I squished it too far, but it's okay as long as it's secure, which it is. Okay, so I got my end. I'm gonna tuck my cotton back in there. So now what I need to do is I'm gonna work on the other end, and the other end I'm going to use that natural kind of pearl taupey bead. And like I say, boho beads I know are like so really beautiful, and you use all the vibrant colors, and I'm using muted nature colors. So let's see if it'll go in this side. Oh, I would get a bead that looks like it's kind of closed off and I didn't bring extra beads in. Let me see if I can go through it. Yeah, I did. Okay. And you do want to make sure you can test the bead. You test your beads, you know, before, and make sure they're going to go on your wires and stuff. All right. Okay. Alrighty. So then the next thing I'm going to do is put my little bead cap on that end. And find my other little, I put extras in here just in case for the end, my bead end. Put that on. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is secure this down. I'm going to make a loop at the end of this as well. So I get my round nose pliers and I just hold it like that in between, and then I just turn it at a right angle, okay? Then I like I said, I like to work from the side, so I readjust and I still put it in the middle of these, okay? And then I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to wrap. And again, I don't want a large, I want a smaller, because I'm trying to keep the overall look of my bead not too crazy large. And then I wrap a few times. And then I am going to snip that wire. Whoops. So if this turns out to where it's not a very good video because of the light, then I may just have to redo it. I might go on and put this one out and then redo it later. Okay. All right, now I gotta tamp that wire down. So I'm gonna use my little round nose plier there. Let me do it this way. And then there's that little edge right there that I'm going to just tamp him down. Just press it down. Press it down. There we go. So now I have the beginning part of my bead, okay? And I'm getting ready now to do my wrapping, okay? So I'm going to put these aside, my little tools. And I'm going to start with my muslin. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just cut it and ripped it. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to actually do some twisting as I wrap it. So I go ahead and just put a little bit of glue on the straw. Okay. And then I'll add glue, some more glue as we go along also. So I'm just going to get it started. And I kind of try to keep it up under that, the bead there, but I kind of tweak that at the end. Anyway, let me get that going. Get that glue on. Get a little more glue. And like I said, they're just a little, you know, you just mess around with them until you get it how you want it. There's not a direct science. So I'll just start twisting. And what I do, because I want to build a little bulk around it, I kind of like twist my fabric. And that's just because I'm making mine fatter, just because there's a butterfly in there. And I want that butterfly to, he's going to have room to grow in there, so he's got to have a nice little home, okay? So like I say, you kind of run it up under the bead as much as you can, and I think I'm gonna just kind of come back down. So I twist as I wrap, okay? Because I'm just trying to build up that bulk. And when I get to the end, I just add a little more glue for my fabric to stick to. And then just kind of press, let me see, I'll press that in, okay? Now, if there's some ratty little areas, which there will be, that's gonna get, I'm wrapping another, I'm gonna wrap another piece of fabric around this, and so by the time you do all that, things get tamped down. And then I wrap wire around it, so the wire is going to help hold everything in place too. So whatever the glue, you know, doesn't get, the wire will hold it in place. So you can kind of see my little uneven wrapping. It didn't have a science to it. I just twisted it. I started out flat, and then I started twisting it to build up some bulk in the middle, okay? And you can do that with your regular boho beads. It doesn't have to be a butterfly cocoon to do that on. Like I say, the more space you have, the more you can enjoy the beads that you put on there and everything like that. The next piece I'm going to do is my little, kind of my little green, it's like a spring green chiffon. So I'm going to get my glue, and I'll just probably start here since it needs to be tamped down anyway. And I'm just going to layer that right there across. And make sure it's under my bead. Try to stay up under my bead, but covering everything. I'm going to twist it a little bit, and then I'm going to come wrapping around the other side. Okay. And when I get to the end, I kind of like to twist it just for security there. And so I'm going to put a little more glue. Here. I had to start this up over. I only had introduced myself and just was starting to tell you guys what I was doing. And my kitty cat, I thought she was going to be all right, but she starts coming up here wanting to see what I'm doing. So I had to stop it and put her put her up. Okay, so this is add a little more glue. Like I say, the gluing, you know, try to get it as good as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to put another layer on it anyway, so that'll hold that down some. Okay, so you see, it's starting to look like a little butterfly. His little, spun his little cocoon. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is do that fun little element with the wing. And so I'm just going to, I like to kind of do it on a diagonal. Now, I'm going to do, if this is the top of my bead, which is what I did with the other two, so that's going to be the top of my bead. And then I just put the butterfly wing down. I've actually seen pictures where the butterfly could be facing downward or the butterfly could be, you know, moving up. You know, I guess it starts moving around in there over time. So anyway, I'm going to put some glue, but I hadn't had him where he was like straight up, not upside down. And I'm just gonna kind of, just wherever I want to put him, I'm just gonna kind of put him like that, the little wing, okay? And that is very subtle, but you can see him through the sheer piece that I'm gonna do. So let me cut me off. And I just did little strips, maybe about 1 inch wide of this, 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch wide. It's, like I say, doesn't have to be anything exact. There's some extra fibers there, so I'm gonna just trim those off. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to wrap this over him. So let me get me a little glue going. And then I'm just gonna kind of adhere that and try to keep it level up under that button. Like I say, it looks like it's gonna take the buttons over, but the wire is gonna tamp that down for us. So that'll get it back in control. And I'm gonna just wrap this around and twist. I like to twist it. And when I'm coming along where the butterfly's showing, I like it to be, let me see, I was twisting that, let's see. I actually liked it to be open a little bit, sheer, so that you can, you know, see it better. And then all the way around. So like I say, I only used the length, but I mean, the width was about 1.5 inches to 3/4 of an inch, and then the length is maybe about 5 inches, you know, so I didn't really use much. And my straws are probably about 1.5 inches. So, all right, so what I want to do now is add a little more glue to this. So, put some glue here. And you just kind of know where to put your glue based on where you're starting and where you're ending up. Okay. All right. And you can see his little wing poking through. So you know you got a little bit, you know what, I might make that even more sheer than instead of twisting it that soon. Let me do this. Let me do that. Okay. Because I want you to be able to see it pretty good. My little button's getting covered, but I will pull him back out. All right. It's really starting to look like a little butterfly cocoon there, and there he is, his little wing there. All right, now we are ready to do the wire wrapping. So on this one, what I do is I just get it started, and I pinch down the wrapping of the material, and I leave a little extra here, and then I just wrap and cinch that around the middle there, around the underneath the bead and around that fabric. And then I come with my other one and I'm kind of doing the same thing, and that's helping me to pop that bead back out so you can see it, okay? Then what I do is I pretend like I'm gonna wrap this probably about 5 times around, and then I want excess to wrap around the end of this bead. So I'll just leave a little excess, get my wire cutters, and then just cut some off, okay? Then what I do is unwrap it, because I just did that loosely. I just needed to kind of know how much I wanted. See, there's no direct usual science to this or measuring. All right, so now the beads that I have left are my pretty little iridescent beads, okay? And I have my little briolet that I'll put in just a little bit, so I'll put it in back over there. These are, you can use whatever color beads you want, but I use little iridescent beads because I thought it'd be pretty on my bronze wire and make it look iridescent, which it does, and make it look like maybe dew is on the outside of the cocoon. So you can use whatever color beads you want, of course, and whatever project you're doing. So I had 2 of those larger beads in there. I don't need those now. I probably used about 25 of these small beads. These are like little seed beads, okay? So what I do is I'll go ahead and get them on. I'll count them out. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because when I did my other ones, I felt like about 25 was good, the way I wanted to disperse them around the wire as I twisted them, and I'd release maybe anywhere from 1 to 3 beads at a time. So now I've lost count. I think that's 14. We're going to say 14. If I have too many, I can knock them off before 15, 16, 17. Almost there. 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. I think that's good. So you see my little beads on here, okay? So hold on to the end, this end pretty good, because you don't want them falling off. But what I'm gonna do is kind of disperse them as I go around. And I'll tell you what I'm gonna do is go over, without the beads, I'm gonna go over this. Pretty good there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, as I start to wrap around, I'm gonna start off with about 3 little beads there, okay? And then I'm gonna wrap around, okay, and then I'm gonna leave maybe 2, just drop 2, and then as I put pressure wrapping around, I'm gonna put 3 more, and I'm just spinning my my little bead around, and then I'll do 2 more. As I'm wrapping this wire around, I think this time I'm gonna do, I don't want this falling off, I'm gonna do maybe 1, and you can kind of see like where the beads are. You may leave a couple of beads where you don't have any, like there I didn't leave any, so I'll make sure I leave a little more here. You could slide them too. That is what I'm gonna do, because I don't like having space where there's not a bead. I like those little beads. Okay. So sometimes you can leave 1 bead, sometimes 2, sometimes, and they don't have to be exact, like I say. And then I'm getting close to this little bead down here. All right, so that's as many times as I'm gonna wrap around, and I think I have enough of my beads on there. So where you can just, I'll tell you what I might do. Let me leave a little more, because that one little area was a little empty. So you just twist your wire and just drop some beads as you go along. Okay. And you can move them on here. I had forgotten that you can do that, but you can. They'll kind of slide. Okay, so I'm at the end here where I need to try to pull this little bead out from all those little fibers of the fabric. And now I think what I'm ready to do is take these beads off. I just had 3 left. And I'm just ready to wrap around that and finish this up. Okay, so I just do a number, or I just wrap the rest of it around. And you don't have to cut it off unless you want to, but I just wrapped what I had left around, and then what I'm going to do is take this end and make sure it's hidden and tucked up under. And if there's any excess, I could probably, you know, snip it off, which there is a little, and I think I'm going to snip that off. So down in there. Do this. And that wire just went flying, so I'm not really sure where that is. I'll have to be careful when I clean my station up. Okay, so now we have our little bead. I'm going to cut some of the little fibers off that are wanting to spring out of it. So you have your little cocoon, and then you have, everything is secure. Nothing's going to really go anywhere, okay? It's real secure and tight. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put my little briolette to hang from the bottom. So this was the top, and I'm hanging my briolette down here, so I'm going to show you how I do that. So I take my wire, and I take this, a briolette has the holes in the top, okay? So I just string it on, and I'm probably using about, and I don't need this much, but it's better to have more than you need. I just kind of maybe have 3 inches on each side. I put it in the middle and then have 3 inches, and I just nip that. And then I pinch it. This is flexible wire enough that I'm going to just kind of pinch it like that so that it comes together over the top of that brûlée. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave one of these straight, and then I'm going to wrap a little bit with the other one. So one straight, and then I'm just going to wrap just to adhere it down, okay? We're going to wrap over that a little bit more in just a minute. Then I straighten both of them out, okay? And I just straighten both of them out, and then what I'm going to do is make a loop on this. Now, I like to do it where my butterfly, I want to see where my butterfly's on the top. And so what I do is the same thing I did a while ago. I take my little round nose pliers and I come to the top of that wrapping, and then I'm just going to pull it back at a 90-degree angle. And then I'm going to turn it around because that's the way I am comfortable with it. And then I'm going to take my flat nose, and I'm just going to grab these 2 wires and twist them around. And so I think I'm going to want my little, I want it to be a little bit smaller actually. So I'll tell you what I might do. I'm going to come down below that a little bit because I think I want it even smaller. There we go. I just don't want like a really large loop, okay? And then I'm just gonna, before I do that, I almost messed up. Okay, once I get my loop, basically the size that I like it, which I think it's a little larger than, okay. Once I get it the size I like it, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the bottom before I twist. I started to twist. So I'm going to twist it the rest of the way once it's on here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I've got it on my little loop back there. I'm going to put my little round nose plier in here, and then I'm going to just wrap. And this is flexible enough you can do it with your hands, okay? Just do a few little wraps there. And the other thing I'm going to do is I just kind of want to straighten that out so it's hanging straight. Before I cut that, I'm going to do it. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to cut these off, and then I'll clamp those down. Just kind of press those down so that they will not be sticking out. And again, to do this, you can use to hold on to it there, you can use your round nose pliers to hold it onto that little loop while I press these guys down. Just kind of press them and squeeze them down where they're hidden, and they're not gonna be sticking out. Okay. And then I just kind of straighten it up. And there you have it. There's my little boho bead. I hope you can see it. And I hope this light hadn't been too, I got glue on my fingers. I hope this light hadn't been too horrible. So that'll be hanging off the side of my little journals that I've got coming out into the next day or two. So like I say, these came together pretty good, and I thought, well, I'll cut the camera on and just kind of show you. And you might not be making cocoon boho beads, but to make it look like a little butterfly cocoon, but you know, the premise is the same to make these boho beads, and you can make them with any colors, all kinds of fabrics, you know, all kinds of beads and everything. I know there's a lot of videos out there for that, but I just really wanted to show you, and then I also wanted to show you how I made that little plastic straw work by stuffing it with the little cotton ball, and it doesn't hardly take any materials for that. Okay, but I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be seeing you soon with my little trio of journals, and I'll be talking to you later. Bye.